Hi, my name is Jermaine Haynes, and I'll be going over the presentation for Wicked for Good. This movie was released in 2025, and the budget for the movie was about 150 million, and it grossed over 500 million. The summary for this movie, it's a popular and well-expected sequel to Wicked that was adapted from the stage play. Wicked for Good follows the aftermath of the first movie, now 5 years later, with Elphaba now being dubbed the Wicked Witch of the West to the citizens of Oz. While Elphaba sets to liberate the animals from their oppression and expose the wizard to the public, Glinda maintains her status as a symbol of goodness to the people, prepares to marry while clashing with Elphaba, and even sends newcomers, Dorothy and her friends, to the wizard to find her way back home. Now, for the production and film crew, this movie was directed by John M. Chu, which I have pictured here. Cinematography was done by Alice Brooks. Music by Stephen Schwartz and John Powell, and the editing done by Myron Kirsten. And so the crew worked on both films, and so they got to really know each other. For the lighting, the four things that I pointed out in this movie for lighting sources are artificial light, hard lighting shadows, multi-camera lighting, and soft lighting. Now, the lighting sources for this movie use hundreds of artificial lights, including LED lights. Even this light down here is a Nanlux Evoke 900, which costs almost $5,000 a piece. And the film even used soft lighting for a majority of the film, making sure each transition into each scene was, smooth. If you look on this picture right here, where you can see it shows a shadow. It's one of the scenes in the movie where Elphaba and Glinda are fighting, and it just shows the example of how they use the lights to create the shadow. Now, when it comes to color, the four things that I pointed out in the movie was color symbolism, desaturation theory, color psychology, and color temperature. For color psychology, I have a picture of the yellow brick road, and yellow is strongly associated with optimism, cheerfulness, and hope, and it's often acting as a symbol of sunshine, vitality, and warmth. So in the movie, Glinda tells Dorothy to go to the wizard and take the yellow road to find the wizard, and he can help her try to get back home. So she cheerfully marches on the yellow road. Now, for color symbolism, I have a picture of Glinda, and she has her pink bubble and her pink wand. And pink is represents femininity and innocence. And she's assigned to the people. And even though her wand doesn't have any powers, but the people use that pink, that she wears, and they look to her as a symbol of goodness, and even kind of a maternal figure and very compassionate. Now, for destination theory, it refers to reducing a color's purity or intensity and kind of moving it, towards a closer like gray, white, or black. And in this scene, I have a picture of it. It's Elphaba and Fiero, and it's kind of a dark moment after they just were ran away from Oz after they confronted the wizard. And it kind of shows the mood kind of being a sad but really like somber mood, but they also have each other, so they're fine. And lastly, I want to talk about the color temperature in the movie. On a scale of Kelvin, it gives off between 5,500 K to 6,500 K. It kind of gives off cool tones like blue and green, similar to like cloudy skies or shade, and mimicking the midday sun, and the temperatures like in that range as well. And so it's really good for outdoor setting, making it look real authentic. Now, when it comes to framing and composition for this movie, the aspect ratio was anamorphic, and this is the widest of the common aspect ratios, often used for epic films and grand visual. And with Wicked having a really big budget, they really used that and put that to the test with this film. Now, for emphasizing There is a scene in the movie where Glenda is confronting the wizard after Elphaba supposedly died, and she has this green flask, and the camera really focuses on it and puts it in the middle. And she remembers that this green flask is something that the wizard always has. And later on, it reveals that the green flask is important because he used the green flask, and it's revealed that he's Elphaba's father, which is a really big thing that adds to kind of the mood. Now, for Headroom, in that same scene, after realizing that he's Elphaba's father, the wizard just stands there after he just had this big epiphany, and he realizes that this whole time of him wanting a family, Elphaba is that daughter who he had just recently ordered to be slain. Now, lastly, for framing and composition, I have a picture of negative space, and that kind of refers to the empty or unfilled areas surrounding a main subject within the frame. Now, well, it doesn't have to be nothing for negative space. In this scene, it's just sand, and it's known as the land beyond Oz. And in this scene, it evokes emotion or kind of curiosity at the same time, and also gratefulness that Elphaba and Firo get to be together at the end of the film. Now, for visualization, time, and motion, I have subjective view. Now, subjective view is basically the view from the subject or character, and I have a really good scene right here that shows subjective view. So in this scene, you can see Glenda. She is behind like a wall and with the door, but there's little openings in the door. And as she's looking out, she's seeing little glimpses of Elphaba fighting Dorothy. And it's really emotional because this is the scene where Dorothy pours the water on Elphaba and melts her. Now, bird's eye view, it's kind of obvious. It's just the view from like really high above, and it's like a bird's eye. So I don't have a picture of it right here, but I did link the time frame in the movie where you can go to this code and see the view, how they view Oz from that view. Flashback is also kind of obvious one in this scene from 11 minutes and 34 seconds to 13 minutes and 44 seconds. It shows a flashback of Glenda when she was a young girl, just showing how she tried to use magic, but she couldn't, but everybody still liked her anyways because she played it off like she did know how. And ever since then, people kind of looked at her, like I said, as a maternal figure and, goodness and everything. And then lastly, we have a video of a table 360 pan, and which is when the camera is keeping at the center and is panning to the left and the right to show the different actors. Okay. Now for the next slide, we have sound. The first one I want to talk about is asynchronous sound. So very in the beginning of the movie, right here, I have listed at like 4 minutes. In the opening, you can hear, oh, I'm sorry, not 4 minutes, but like 40 seconds. In the opening, you can hear the sound of flying monkeys, bees, and it kind of creates like an ominous feeling and a sense of, menace. For location sound, I have a picture right here, and location sounds is basically the sounds that are used to make a location seem more real. And in this location, Dorothy is screaming, and there are winged monkeys that are flying, so you can hear wind rustling. Let me see, wind rustling, wings flapping, her screaming, and because she's really high up in the air as well. And then for just regular sound effects, let's see, right here, you can see the Tin Man. So this is after he's transformed into a Tin Man. Every step he takes, you can hear it sounds like metal clanking. And it kind of adds to his transformation and makes it seem real. And one of the actors of the film says that they used a grill from a fireplace and even salt and pepper shakers to make those sounds. And lastly, I have music, and music is really important and adds to the sound of this film. In the scene that I have, time frame, Elphaba does a spell to turn Fiero into a scarecrow so he doesn't feel any pain or he doesn't die after he's caught by the guards and they take him out to the field to beat him up. And for editing, I have eyeline match shot. And so eyeline match shot is a technique where a shot of the character is looking at something off screen and it's followed by a cut to a shot of what they're looking at. And so at that scene of 47 minutes, there is a scene where Elphaba goes to visit Glinda, and it's actually the first time she sees her in the movie. And while Glinda is getting dressed and the animals are helping her and everything, there's a crack on the window, and Glinda hurries and looks at the crack, and then the camera pans back to her and she gasps, and the next moment she goes outside and she sees Elphaba out there, and Elphaba even says to her like, "Hey, are you scared, or did I scare you?" The next thing I want to talk about is the shot reverse shot. And so right here I have a video, and in this video you can see the wizard talking with Madame Morrible, and she's telling him about how Dorothy and her friends have come here to see him, and he's saying he really doesn't want to see anybody. And the camera pans back to each one of them every time they talk, and you can see makes them really look reluctant. And it does also does a great job of making Madame Marble more aggressive as she's telling him like, "Hey, we can use Dorothy and her friends to you can use this to our advantage." And then in this scene up here, or these pictures I have, is a great example of a jump cut. And so a jump cut is a film editing technique that creates a jolting effect by abruptly cutting from one part of the shot to another. And it's done to kind of remove footage in the middle of things that like aren't important or that will take a long time to show. And so on the top, you can see Glinda right here at the top of the stairs. And then instead of showing her going down and everything, the very next part just shows her like walking into her closet as she's getting prepared to get some clothes on to leave. Shot. Lastly, which I have the time codes right here for is reestablish shot. And this just shows that after a flashback, it was a very long flashback, the reestablishing shot it shows the area of eyes outside just to remind the viewer of the location where we're at, and that's the end.